Yes, it is episode 13 of Between the Sheets with Pamela, which seems kind of appropriate considering that it's Halloween. It's Halloween and it's also bloody hot. We've got a heat wave on at the moment in Joburg, a heat wave and no water. As TK from the city of Joburg said, would the people of the parks please stop filling their swimming pools? Yes, people, you've heard it here first. Now, I've got a couple of interesting things to report from the last week or two. Firstly, I got to meet lovely Twitter friend Louisa Traeger in real life. Louisa does book reviews on Classic FM on Tamara Lapine Williams' show. I didn't manage to get Louisa between my sheets, but I did manage to get an interview with her. So she wouldn't let me in between her sheets.
Sorry about that.
I know. But she did give me champagne and she let me into the library. And now I have to learn how to pronounce your name. Traeger.
I've had all sorts, but it's Traeger.
Traeger, Louisa Traeger. So in the library, not between my sheets. And she is going to tell us about what it felt like to be published for the first time. And her book is, of course, The Lodger. Louisa.
Well, basically it was like getting up in front of the whole world and taking all my clothes off. That's probably the best
I'm a drama student. I do that often.
Because it's a strange thing of being a writer is you're on your own in your little room for, months, if not years. And then suddenly you're exposed, you're out there.
And everyone's asking you, was that character based on? And
very much so. And reading all sorts of things into the book that you didn't mean. I mean, it really sort of takes on an independent life.
Which is worrying.
Yes. I mean, it was mixed. I had, wonderful readers who, got things out of the book in unexpected ways. And then people who didn't get it. It was a real mixed bag.
And tell us about your 1-star review.
Well, the first review I ever read of The Lodger was a 1-star on Goodreads.
Do not read Goodreads, okay? Don't go to Goodreads.
It's true. Best piece of advice
ever.
I can give any writer is don't read your Goodreads reviews. It was by a lady who said she was so appalled by my book that she wished she'd known before she started reading it, or she wouldn't have ever started reading it. And I am the sort of person who can read 50 good reviews and one bad one, and I will remember the bad one word for word forever.
For the rest of your life. It's like tattooed on your soul. Okay, and now I'm going to ask Louisa what she's reading now. And she tells me it's trash, which is fine because she's got a PhD in English, so she's allowed to read trash. What is it, Louisa?
Well,
Confess.
it's not highbrow at all, but it's utterly gripping. And it's Every 15 Minutes by Lisa Scotterly.
And it's about?
Well, it's about a psychiatrist who is being stalked and destroyed by a sociopath.
Oh, I love the sound of that immediately.
And it's actually so well done. We shouldn't call it trash because she really gets right into the mind of both the psychiatrist, how he thinks, and the sociopath.
And of course, I mean, being a soapy writer, I do believe that there is a knack to writing popular stuff, whatever it be, TV, film, fiction.
Well, you know what? I actually think that writing a gripping story is the most important thing.
No, I agree totally. And I think we get too hung up on, is this literary fiction? Is this something I should be reading, or should I be hiding this?
Yes.
In case everybody sees me reading this Jilly Cooper.
I agree.
Thank you, Louisa Traeger. I also went along to the UJ Literary Awards with the husband. It was very jolly because we got to hang out with prize winner Craig Higginson. He won for his book, The Dream House. So yes, we got to hang out with him and his lovely family, and also with dear friends and neighbours, the Sidleys. Boykie Sidley has been in the poo with a number of people for that article in the Daily Mav, so we had a good giggle about that. I also got to meet Eliza Kentridge, who was the joint winner of the debut prize, along with Nkosinati Sitole, who sadly couldn't be there because he had a death in the family. Craig Higginson gave the most stunning speech, and I managed to record a little bit of it.
I was recently struck by this quote from Tennessee Williams. "We live in a perpetually burning building. and what we must save from it all the time is love. Now, talk of love often feels sentimental and ineffectual, especially in the context of a burning house. What we should probably say first from a burning house is our spouse, our children, our pets, with the possible exception of the hamsters. And in the days we wrote letters and printed photographs, our letters and our photographs. In other words, our computers. But where does love reside if not in our family and our repositories of memory? These are some of the things that make us human. When we live in a perpetually burning building, what we need to save from it time and time again is our humanity. Our humanity is not a constant. It is something we earn. When someone drives a truck into a crowd of children and their parents who are looking at fireworks by the sea, that is a moment when someone of the human race has set aside what we might call their humanity and decided on a different path, where everything that every generation since the beginning of time has worked towards, wherever they might have lived in the world, is set aside, and we become not as bad as animals, but worse than animals, for no animal behaves as we do when we are at our worst. And the problem is that we are never at our best, or never for long. We humans are incapable of sustaining anything. Perhaps we are best defined by our laziness, our complacency. Perpetually we have to refresh ourselves. Love has to be looked for and regained. If neglected or taken for granted, it soon fades away. We have to work in order to retain our humanity. Iris Murdoch said, "We are the only animals that create a picture of what we want to be and then try to become it." What picture do we want to move towards? Because in choosing a picture for ourselves, we're also choosing a picture for the world. We are giving life to a vision that does not yet exist and will probably never exist. But in that work towards some form of redemption or home, we discover ourselves.
After my chat with Louisa and having gone to the UJ Awards ceremony, I started thinking about popular fiction, and particularly popular women's fiction. It's spoken about so dismissively and generally by people who really wouldn't know their Marion Keyes from their Helen Fielding. And my God, but people do love to find labels for women's fiction. Fiona Snickers wrote a paper entitled Trivializing the Feminine, the Genreification of Women's Fiction in Post-Apartheid South Africa. I only read the title and I thought, go Fifi, because it's so true. As Magali Mashigo said, we don't have dude lit, so why do we have chick lit? Which I thought is a bloody good question. And now talking about women's fiction, I would like to recommend a lovely book by Jen Thorpe called The Peculiars. It's light and it's amusing, but it also has some very, very meaty themes, a lot of stuff about phobias, which I could particularly relate to. There's also some romance there. I'm not going to speak too much about it because you know what a shocker I am for spoilers. But Yewande Omatoso recommends it. She says, The Peculiars is a great debut. Jen Thorpe's prose is quirky and compelling in its rendering of Cape Town. And I thought it was a great book. Jen wrote me a lovely inscription to Pamela, Twitter and literature inspiration. Love, Jen. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, so I recommend that. The Peculiars by Jen Thorpe. I don't know if there actually are any awards for popular women's fiction. If there aren't, I think I need to get around to organizing one, when I've got a minute. Perhaps not in the next couple of weeks because I'm kind of busy. Yes, Halloween, the 31st of October, is the official publication date for my second novel, Things Unseen. You can order it from the Clockwork Books website. Otherwise, I hope I'm going to see all of you at the launch on Friday. It's 4:30 for 5 at Love Books, Josie and Melville. I'm extremely honored that Kate has let me have the launch on a Friday because it's usually a big no-no. Please RSVP. Okay, you can't just see me in Woolies and go, oh, great, we'll see you on Friday. You actually do need to email them. Seriously, people, imagine if we ran out of wine. None of you will be laughing then. Okay, so RSVP. Right, so hopefully see you all on Friday, and otherwise remember to read essay.
Come on, star, baby.